You could hear him saying, "Hey, that's that girl. She's the one that survived." The day was July the 3rd, and it was bright, sunny, just a beautiful blue sky. And we took off with 2 canoes to go across what was called at that time, it was kind of like Drummond Island. There's a bay there. And as we came across, not a cloud in the sky, just absolutely beautiful. And then all of a sudden you saw on like the eastern horizon this huge black cloud. I mean, it was huge. It came over into the bay area, and then boom, it just went just crazy. I mean, all of a sudden we had wind, we had waves. But we were at the mercy of the water. And as we churned through there, that became a very dark, turbulent night. We had to last through the night. There were no ships that came through there. And as the storm stopped, the tide took us away from Drummond, and it pulled us into a place called Cockburn Island. So through the night, I had to last, and so did my friends. My friends, Dwight was like a brother to me. We had worked the summer before. Sally was a wonderful young lady, a bright, just sweet girl that I think would have went on, to be a missionary somewhere, or to be full-time into Christian ministry. Mark, I had just met him that summer, just full of life, loved to work. I had to last, and so did my friends. The storm actually took 2 of them into the waves, and they succumbed to the later stages of hypothermia. Mark was with me the last in the canoe. It was probably about 4 o'clock in the morning, and he actually kicked, and I think I had also kind of fallen asleep a little bit. And I grabbed him, put him into the canoe, got up over the canoe and rubbed his arms and legs and talked to him, and then somehow I got myself into it. And I can remember you just looked across the North Channel toward Cockburn, and you saw a flashing red light. And I thought it was a lighthouse, but it ended up just being a big electrical box that was on the island with a switch on the other side. And then you could just see the stillness of the water. And Mark and I were sitting in the canoe, and I kind of straddled it to keep it steady and put his head into my arm right here. And it was just a quiet, still night, and you were freezing because of about 49-degree water. And then when I looked at Mark, it was like dawn. That next day, July 4th, and he stopped breathing in my arms. I gave him mouth to mouth. I couldn't give him CPR, on the water. And he breathed for a couple times, and then he died. So I always tell people that you have a soul. And I remember that night on the water, there was nothing warm. And when he passed away, I could feel a warmth hit my chest as his soul rose to be with the Lord. And so then I started swimming toward the island. I swam approximately about a mile, a little over a mile, got to the island at Cockburn Island, and then walked about 5.5 hours before I was found. This gentleman came in, and he was an emergency room doctor. And he was just looking at me, he was looking at my chart, then he started walking back and forth next to that gurney. And my mother was in the room there, and all these nurses were around in the emergency room, and you could hear him saying, "Hey, that's that girl. She's the one that survived. She survived the 15 hours in Lake Huron." And he said, Cheryl, you're not supposed to be here. Do you know that young lady? You were supposed to have died 2 nights ago on Lake Huron. You're not supposed to be here. And finally I said, Doc, I said, no offense, but I'm sure glad you're not in charge. But at that point I looked at him, and I remember he looked down at me. And he said, Cheryl, he said, I am really sorry. He said, I don't mean to offend you, young lady. He said, but you don't have a clue. He said, you got to understand something. He said, in the scientific books, there's no reason you should still be living and breathing on this earth. You should have died. People do not last in 15 hours in 49-degree water. The average life expectancy is 3 to 5 hours. And he looked at me and he said, you are a miracle baby. And he said, I just want you to know you've rocked my world. And I was thinking, what's going on? And he said, you don't understand, do you? He said, Cheryl, I'm an atheist. What you've gone through is making me rethink what something known as God is out there. And I just remember a light bulb went off, and I thought, wow, I'm not supposed to be here, and I should have died. But you know what? God's in control, and He always does things, for reasons. I don't know all the reasons, but I know some of them since then. For me, it's the uncertainty of life, but actually also everybody always thinks they have all this time, and they always think you have to be old to die, but you don't. My friends were just in their 20s and one was 18 when they passed away. So it's changed my life and making me enjoy every day, every minute, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow.